Welcome to the REWIRE YOURSELF Podcast, where we help you rewire your thinking so you can build and create the life that you want.
Yeah, if you find a good mentor or mentors, it can shave off years of unwanted outcomes that you could be getting and help you get results way faster.
So when did that start? When did that whole process start for you? I mean, because everybody's different. Everybody kind of finds their groove at different times. When did that pop into your head that you needed a mentor? And then, who was the first one that you sought out?
Well, I think the first time that I was consciously aware that I needed a mentor was sometime through the middle of college. I think I kind of unconsciously had a mentor my whole life, my dad, and I didn't even realize it. It wasn't like hey, I'm mentoring you and we're gonna sit down at the table and I'm gonna teach you. We're gonna go over topics. He really never said anything like that. He really never said much of anything about teaching me anything. He just led by example. Taught me how to work hard. Taught me how to dig holes. Taught me how to just do some back-breaking work, some good old-fashioned hard work, and what he would send me to work for his foundation repair company probably when I was starting like 30 years old, 13 years old, and I didn't know it then, but what I was learning through his kind of like unconscious mentoring by making me go to work when I was younger and do hard work. He was really setting up the foundation of my work ethic for how I was going to go on and live my whole life. And so it was really, now I'm starting to see, what he was doing.
Yeah. I think that's a good first mentor. So from that, you transition out, you start finding other mentors. Who else comes along and who are your current mentors?
So then the next person that kind of started mentoring me also kind of accidentally was my girlfriend's dad, Jim Cook. And the thing that he did for me was just kind of open my eyes up to what life could really be. He's just living an awesome life, had time freedom, had financial freedom. And I was just like, wow, man, I want that too. And so that it kind of like created awareness in my life that, hey, I could do this too. And so then, he wasn't sitting down with me, mentoring me formally either, but he was just kind of leading by example also. So I had my dad, my girlfriend's dad, that were really influential in setting up a foundation and changing the way that I think, the paradigm shift.
So do you have anybody else other than him, or is it just those two currently as well?
So then, in the middle of college, I was working for our national fraternity, where our chapter fraternity, which Tony. Tony and I, for those of you that don't know, we were fraternity brothers, chapter brothers at Central Missouri State, and that's our Alpha chapter. And we also just kind of uniquely had the national fraternity's headquarters in the same town since we were the first chapter, and that's where they set up the headquarters. So I worked for our national fraternity, and I rented out a wedding venue. So I was just getting paid commissions, going out and creating awareness in the town about renting out this room. Really, it wasn't very special. But so I went to work this thing we call Web Academy in Kansas City, and it's where all the chapter presidents from the fraternity come to one place and kind of get some leadership training and meet each other and network and stuff. So I was working it, helping put it on. And so I'm like, all right, if I have to be here this weekend, I'm going to try to make it productive and meet some people. So I see this guy who looked like he was in the mob and, just super interesting looking. He's about 70 years old. Looks like he just put off an aura of like wisdom.
Yeah.
How you meet somebody sometimes and you can just tell they're really smart and have been there, done that.
Yeah.
So it's this guy named Buzz, and so I talked to him, nothing big or anything, and I get his business card, And for like 3 months after that event, I would call him like every day, leaving him voicemails, and he'd never answer. And he has this big long voicemail because he's an attorney and he charges like big retainer fees. So he didn't want people leaving him voicemails if they weren't able to pay the fees. So he would just make like this long drawn out voicemail. Yeah. And I actually knew it by heart. I still do. So he didn't call me back for like 3 months, and finally he called me back. He said, "What do you want? And who are you?" And then we kind of hit it off, and he started mentoring me for a year. Every Friday morning we would have a call at 9 a.m. and he'd teach me about life and business. And to this day, he's really like the strongest, best, just most caring mentor that I have in my life.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so what's the best thing that you learned from Buzz?
The best thing that I've learned from Buzz is really about listening and learning and not talking. So one thing that he really reinforces to me is that every time that I talk, I'm only repeating things that I already know. So once I started consciously paying attention to that, I was like, man, I've been really bad about this, for years. And so I've really put an effort, and I've seen a lot of results and things change in my life when I change my thinking about trying to talk about 80% or talk about 20% of the time and listen 80% of the time. And really the only time I try to open my big mouth is if I'm asking people questions to keep them talking, and try to be the Dale Carnegie guy. I think it's principle 7. He says listen to others, encourage them to talk about themselves. And so I try to do that a lot.
Would you say that's the most valuable thing that you've learned from your mentors collectively, or is there something that is just so much so powerful that it kind of hangs over that? Or just in general, what is something else that's pretty powerful to you?
It's pretty funny that is kind of the overarching theme that older people.
It's a good one.
I know, yeah. People that are 40 and older up to like 78 that I've had mentor me, the kind of running theme is just please don't talk, please listen, please model the actions of people who are getting the results that you want, and you're going to see your life start changing in front of your eyes.
Yeah, you can't learn when you're running your mouth. So
I know, man. It's so bad whenever, I'm still not the best at it, but when I see people just running their mouths and they're around somebody really smart that they need to learn from, it's just like the saddest thing.
Yeah. So is there a number out there? A lot of people, is there a number of mentors you should go for, or, what's been the best, thing for you? What, in your experience, how many should you have at a time overall? Is it kind of, is it one after the other? Is it multiple at the same time? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think what you need to get clear on is, what do you want to be exceptional at in life? So, it might be spiritually, relationships, parenting, financially, so you kind of want to take what are all your buckets that you want to get better in, and then who's pouring advice into your life. So if there's somebody who's the best parent that you've ever known and just have exceptional kids, I don't think that people even have the awareness that they could have a mentor for just parenting. Mm-hmm. So like, I haven't done too much parenting on, not too much parenting, not too much mentorship on parenting, but I know like I have one business mentor, Jay Rogers, and he doesn't have any kids. So, I go to him for business mentorship, not parenting mentorship. So
got it.
All the buckets, and then find exceptional people in each section, and, go find a way to bring value into their life, and appreciate them and thank them, and then ask if they'll keep on pouring into you.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, right? Because mentorship isn't just about success, you have success, in your career, in your professional life. It can also be in all things. I mean, hell, it could be in a hobby, whatever. So that's a good point. Parenting, just anything that you want to get better at. Just seek those that already have the experience, already have the time in the trenches. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
So what's your number one piece of advice for somebody, listening to this for the first time, mentors, and they want to go out and they want to seek a few mentors? What's your first piece of advice?
You talking about like on finding a mentor?
Yeah.
Well, I think that there's two pieces to finding a mentor that I know of. And the first part is that every single day you have to be investing in yourself, making yourself better, smarter, sharper, so that when you meet somebody, you're ready to impress them. So you might study Dale Carnegie so that when you meet somebody that you want to impress, you're asking the right questions, you're smiling, you're using all those 30 principles to win somebody over. And so you have to invest in yourself so that you're ready when you meet them. And then the way that you meet them, what's worked for me to find mentors is that you have to put yourself in a situation to be around people who you would want to mentor you. So like you have to go to events. You have to be meeting up with people for coffee. You have to be hanging around the right people who know other people that you would want to know. You can't really just sit at home and talk about how you don't have a mentor and you can't figure out why. You got to get out into the world and do stuff. You got to be places. You got to be connecting. You got to connect others. A lot of times the best things that I see happen to people are because they were trying to do somebody else a favor, and then it just comes back, full circle. So you got to be out there doing stuff. And that's you create your own luck. People will say, "Oh man, you got so lucky." But I think when somebody gets lucky, they put themselves that first of all, they invested in themselves. They put themselves in a position to get lucky by putting themselves in a room with people that can make things happen in their lives. And then something big happens for somebody and people might say, "Oh man, you got so lucky." But I mean, I would argue that person probably created their own luck by investing in themselves and then putting themselves in a situation to be around somebody who could change their life.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, with anything that you're going to be good at or find success in, you have to take massive action. You're not going to meet interesting people sitting on your couch in your apartment.
Right.
So that's a great point. Now, you brought up Dale Carnegie a couple times. That's obviously somebody you studied pretty well, and you talk about these 30 principles. Touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, I got Dale Carnegie certified in college. I was just walking around campus when I was a sophomore, having no idea why I was even at school. I was in the business college, and I'm a terrible math person. And I was in stats, economics, and accounting, back-to-back classes like 3 times a week. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm miserable. Walking around campus, weirdly bump into this guy named Terry Kincannon on UCM's campus. And I find out that he's the Dale Carnegie instructor. And I didn't even know what it was at that time. So I go to his office, sit down with him, and he starts explaining how the communication department, Dale Carnegie went to UCM, and they kind of constructed this communication degree after what he taught. And so I was like, that sounds cool. It was pretty business oriented, and that's what I was interested in. So I hopped over to the human, whatever the college is called, something about arts. And so I got Dale Carnegie certified, and then I became really good friends with the Dale Carnegie instructor, Terry. And I ended up taking like 8 more classes with him before my college was done. And Dale Carnegie really impacted my life. I read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And that's what really started me on asking questions and talk. So I was kind of, from my mentors, they were telling me, stop talking, ask questions, listen, be genuinely interested in other people, smile. A person's name to them is the sweetest sound in any language. Use people's names, Tony. Yeah. And so I was hearing this from Dale Carnegie, and then my mentors were reinforcing how important it was. And so it was like a paradigm shift. I sometimes would call it getting rewired. And so I feel like, you're going through life and your thinking is a certain way, and you get these mentors and these people in your life, and they just are like in your brain, like tweaking and rewiring you until you just, you keep on becoming the best version of yourself every year. And that's really what I'm after. I'm chasing down the best version of myself every single year, every single day.
Yeah. That's a great point. And you mentioned his book. It's how to what's the title again? How to
win friends and influence people. And then I have this too. This is Dale Carnegie's Golden Book, and it has his principles in it from each of his books. And so don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Give honest, sincere appreciation. Become genuinely interested in other people. Smile. The name one. Be a good listener. Talk in terms of the other person's interest. Make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. All this stuff is just, it's so basic and so simple. But I really think, and because ego is so powerful, it's very challenging for people to master this. But I think if you can master this, you pretty much got the keys.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and then just reading as well. I mean, that's the other thing too, because people, before you seek out a mentor, go ahead and get good at reading, because that's going to be one of the first things they say. So if you're not good at it, go ahead and get a head start while you're seeking a mentor, because that's one of the first things they're going to do. I know that's the first thing I would do. It's the first thing you would do, is put these books and hey, start here. Start. Wouldn't you say?
Yep. Yeah, man. The books are just, they're rewiring tools. Change your thinking paradigm. Change your paradigm.
Yeah, they're timeless. While we're on books, what other books would be a good start for people getting into mentorship and such?
There are certain books that I kind of consider foundational books. One of them is Entrepreneurial Reflections by Jay Rogers. It's a quick read, and it's just good foundation for being an entrepreneur. And the main theme in it is to ask. A lot of people just never ask, and things will start happening if you just simply ask. People have a desire to help other people, so just ask. Another one is Rich Dad Poor Dad. Just kind of changing your thinking about assets, and about if you really want to have a job, and just your thinking about real estate and stuff. So those are two off the top of my head that were very important for me. Also, one of our favorite authors, Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. It's a big paradigm shifter, man. Really will change your thinking.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Those are all great books. You've shared a couple of those with me, and I've just found a ton of value in them. Right on, Ben. Well, do you have anything else to add? I mean, we pretty much covered everything, when it comes to mentors, what's up, how many you can have, how to get started. Any
I think the last thing that I would leave with is just to if you have mentors, thank them, appreciate them, find any way to bring value into their life. Pick it, you have to, if that's what will let you hang around them, and then Jay Rogers, ask for more. Thank them, appreciate them, bring them value, and keep asking.
Yeah. Make it easy on them to mentor you. Stay in front of their face. Stay in their mind. Don't don't let them come out to you. You know, hey, do you still want to, you know, talk this Friday? You know, just make it easier on them. Save them some time. No, that's good.
Right.
So for people to find you, where can they find you? Social media? Where can they find Ben Paige?
Yeah. Instagram, Ben A as in Anthony Page, benpage.com, and then on Facebook, you know, just Ben Paige.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it. I hope this brought, you know, a ton of value to everybody. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of Ben now. Go check out his website, definitely. I appreciate it, Ben. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, man. You take care.
Appreciate you, man. I'm looking forward to you coming down to the Big D.
Absolutely, man. See you later.
All right, man. See ya.